Hey everybody, welcome back. This video is going to be about how to build a starter base in the same way that I do. And I don't even have radars up here yet, so I can't really show you. We can take a ride through it and talk as we go. But how to build a starter base that can scale up enough to get you into at least the middle game where you can build whatever kind of base you want to. Can you drive over lamps? I always forget. Nope. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alert. This will include spoilers about Space Age. So let's talk about who this video is intended for. This video is not intended for anybody who's looking to build a mega base or anything like that, because Lord knows I've never built one and succeeded yet. I've gotten close, but then Space Age came out and here we are. This video is intended for new and experienced players alike looking to get through the early game and be ready to scale up when they have the resources to do so without being stuck in a design that wasn't right that they started. And what I mean by that is sometimes I try to do city blocks from the start, which can be done. Just look at my friend Kanan's videos if you want to see that. But I don't do that well, at least not yet. I might do another run through later. But anyway, challenges that prevent you from designing an effective starter base and executing on it. Number one, as always, is location. If you pick an area where you don't have room to build out as you want to, like for instance, I said that I was going to build my bus going east. I can't scale this up as much as I want to unless I prioritize landfill right here because my bus is aimed at a lake. So if you really want to be sure that it's going to work and you don't consider it to be cheesy to do this, use the preview screen when you're selecting your game start so that you can see and get an idea of what direction you're going to build out in. Are there a ton of trees in the way? Are there cliffs in the way? Because, by the way, they nerfed cliff explosives in Space Age, and you don't get them until after you launch rockets now. And another thing that's going to prevent this from working is poor design. And by that, what I'm getting at is if you design your modules, sort of the parts of your base that break off from the bus and actually build things like science and stuff like that, if you design your modules in a way such that they can't be extended, at least to some degree, you're going to build yourself into a corner and then you're going to have to do it over again. And that doing it over again is always an option. You can always, this game is wonderful. We can just, you know, like if I want to tear things down right now and say, you know, my military science wasn't working, I would just come over here and deconstruct it. But in seriousness, one of the things that makes this game so fun is that if you want to, you can just tear things down, right? You can just deconstruct them, and you can do whatever you want with this now, inventory permitting, because pretty soon here I'm going to run out of room. But assuming that you did it the right way and went ahead and... Right here, let's clean this up. This is messy. What I like to do is start out with a 4x4 main bus layout. If you don't know what a main bus is, there's a million videos on it on YouTube already that will teach you how to do it the right way. I like to start out with a 4x4 setup with a main bus base. I just use ghosts, which are another extremely powerful tool. You can copy paste them, hold shift and press it, and you can build, you know, previews of buildings for layout purposes, and then later on, spoiler alert, bots to your heart's content. And again, one of the most powerful tools in the game. Use it. And a big part of getting this right is, so if we go over here to the smelting area, you need to leave yourself room for the initial modules, and there's a couple common mistakes that you can do with this. Most of them, if not all, involve not leaving yourself enough room. And I even kind of did that to myself here, if you look, because I want to keep my initial spaceship. It's just kind of a thing I like to do. But if you don't leave enough room for those initial modules, you're going to hurt. So make sure that you at least have an idea of how you're going to set up your smelting. I personally love, and I'm happy to share the blueprints for, by the way. Maybe I'll throw them in the description of the channel somewhere. But I love this 24 furnace smelter setup because it scales well. You can upgrade it, creates a lot of pollution, so it helps you find biters nice and quick. So if you treat everything like modules and you keep them out of the way of the main bus, as you can see I did here, except for the starter ship, but if you treat everything as modules and just build them off to the sides of the main bus, there's really only a couple other things you got to watch for, and you can use this design until it doesn't suit you anymore, or You want to build another bigger one and go someplace else and expand, build a train base, whatever you want to do. But there's one other caveat that we really need to look at in order to understand the final characteristic of how I do this main bus base in a way that scales up. And that is, on these modules, I build them all. So even mall modules, science modules, down here we have smelting modules. I build them all in a way that they can be extended. So, and if you don't see what I mean, look at my oil, for instance. All I would have to do to build even more oil refineries, assuming that the pipes can handle the throughput, would be to copy paste this tileable oil design that I have and paste it down here. And of course it's not going to do that nice and prove my point because I have stuff in the way, so let's do it with sulfur here. If the belts could handle it, which I don't think they can, I can go ahead and just slap more of these down. And there's a couple little nuances to figure out here, like with this pipe right here, that would have to be hooked up. But this open-ended, like literally open end, where maybe the chemical plants aren't the best place to see it, but this open-ended design for my modules allows me to scale them up massively. And if we go back up here to military signs, you'll see this principle executed again. Let's say I need more mags because I didn't scale those up enough. Well, the top is open-ended here, and there's really nothing stopping me from doing more, at least within reason. I did kind of cap off the end here and do this over here because this base is never going to exceed maybe 100 SPM for me, signs per minute. And then there's one last thing. There's one last thing that's so important to all this, and this is, for me, the secret sauce. Setbacks. And what I'm referring to by setbacks is, look at the space between these. Every module is set back from the main bus, and every module is set back from the modules around it. And the reason for that is, if you ever get into a pickle and maybe you need to pull stone, let's say, I don't know, for some reason I need to pull stone over here. I have room to do it. If for any reason I don't have room on the bus or anything like that, I have extra room to work with. This is key. If you don't do this, space is the most plentiful resource in Factorio, but if you don't do this, it may as well not be there because you're going to have a spaghetti base, and however much I love spaghetti bases, they're not fun when you can't make them bigger because the factory must always grow. So yeah, that concludes our video. That's really all there is to it. If you found this helpful, drop me a comment, give me a like, give me a subscribe. It really helps me a lot. And if you want to be a part of the series, come join our live streams. We'd love to have you. Please also, if you want some blueprints, come bug me about them in our Discord. I'd love to hear from you there. There's a link in the description. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.